honest. And I mean, I had my traumas, have traumas that I still carry with me today, and I had a similar experience about the idea of actually addressing those traumas and addressing the issues that were taking place in cycles in my life. um, I got comfortable in the discomfort, not tackling a subject, not going further into the conflict, but instead avoiding it or stuffing it down. And then of
Sure.
course it comes back and attacks again. And
Right.
I had this terrible approach to it, like suggesting that running away from it is going to make it better when in reality, I hadn't learned anything. That was a big issue in my life as well. And I guess one thing that I heard a few times here is, the idea of normal, where it's normal to be masculine and pretend we don't feel anger or we don't feel sadness and stuff, and that gets us in trouble in our relationships. Is
Right.
what does it take? What can somebody listening to this who might be struggling in those poor cycles do to recognize, hey, I do need to find some new sets of tools. I want to get out of this bad habit of kind of hurting myself and hurting others in relationship. Um, what does it take to say, okay, I do need to make an effort to take another step here? And what does that step look like? Is that counseling? Is it, reading a self-help book? What do you think would be good?
Yeah, mostly it's counseling. See, when couples come in and we do assessment work with them, we spend time getting to know a little bit of our history. Because psychology tells us that even though we may think that we don't ever want to repeat the patterns of our parents, unless there is conscious and awareness, we repeat 90% of our parents' attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. We believe in a process called cellular memory. In other words, 95% of your brain is subconscious. It's like a computer that's running a program, and a lot of the programming we carry inside is how we saw things modeled for us through our family of origin. The way that dads deal with things, the way that moms deal with things, the way that dads deal with mom, the interactions with our siblings, what happens when crisis or conflict comes up. All of that is programmed. So when we're at the limit of our knowledge of what to do, we unconsciously go back and replay the tapes of the old program. And then we find ourselves recycling. So when we do assessments with couples, we often will look at when they start to express the level of feeling, is the feeling germane to the situation that they're presenting? If the feeling is bigger than the situation they're presenting, then we often say, okay, this sounds like it's more than just what's happening between the two of you. Are you willing to do some individual therapy to kind of look at and see if you can carry through and address some of this issue, so it's not, you're not trying to resolve all of those years of old family trauma in a present day relationship, because your partner can't deal with it. It's not about them. They may trigger the situation, but they can't solve whatever the historical trauma is from the past. So we try to separate out, you know, in the idea of the uh, program that we did, Sandra and I, about the sacred crucible, is that we want to honor this concept of marriage or coupleship, but that what this coupleship is capable of is only as good as the self-awareness, the maturity, and the confidence of each of the individual partners. And that's why marriage brings up so much, because marriage will always, when you're living with somebody 24/7 and taking on all the responsibility, it will bring up everything that's unfinished with you.